Let's mix it up. Let's wing it this time. Let's do some improv, Mike.
Let's not plan.
Yeah.
Let's see what happens.
Let's just see where the wind takes us.
It'll be a hoot.
Just go with the flow, Mike. Like a twig on the shoulder of the mighty stream.
Sir, I don't understand.
That's glaringly apparent.
I can't fail this class.
Oh, don't sell yourself short, Mr. Coates. I truly believe that you can.
Welcome to Irritable Dad Syndrome, the first installment of a 9-part sci-fi space fantasy. Here are your hosts, Mike and Darin.
Hi, I'm Darin.
I am Mike.
Welcome to Irritable Dad Syndrome. This is episode 195.
We are Cincinnati's comedy podcast, which means as you're listening to this, you may feel a funny tickling sensation in your cockles.
Hello.
It's okay to laugh.
It is. Yes.
The subcockle region.
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah. It's okay. It's generally accepted to laugh.
Yeah, that's our goal. We hope that you find us funny.
Our
Yeah.
goal is for you to listen to all of our shows and share this show with your friends. If you are not driving,
Right.
if you're walking or sitting on the toilet, at your desk, whatever app this is on,
Yeah.
if it's on the Spotify, share it with somebody.
Please.
If you're on the social medias, share us, Irritable Dad Syndrome, and one of your friends is going to, oh, that's the one where they do the dad jokes. No, that's not us. That's the one with the two guys, and every once in a while they go on rants,
Yeah.
and they can't speak
That's
that's what we are.
Oh, that's it. That sounds like us.
It's us.
Yeah.
Yeah. So share it with people. That's how we get new listeners and we get new stories and fun things to do.
Yeah, and if you go to irritabledadsyndrome.com, you can download every episode we have.
Yes.
Every single one of them. And another thing, if you go to irritabledadsyndrome.com, if you choose, you can go to Patreon. You can donate a few bucks, throw it here and there
There's
for
a
us.
whole gaggle of stuff on Patreon.
There really is. And I know people are like, would you stop talking about Patreon?
Dude.
But the thing is, we're now like at the beginning when the people, okay. Are you sitting down? The people who are patrons of this show, they first started when they had no reason at all to be a patron of this show. We
were literally begging.
It was sympathy dollars.
Yes.
Now there's a reason to go to Patreon. Yeah. We have hundreds of hours of bonus content, videos, audio that the heretofore has not been heard by human ears
all
before.
Uncensored and untouched.
Yeah.
And not released to the general public.
Right.
And we've gone back, and some of those are more hilarious things. We do have an episode called the Patreon one, where it's just a bunch of stuff that was exclusive to Patreon, and we unleashed it into the wild.
To like, hey, this is what you're missing.
A taste. So if you look at it this way, boomers, the podcast, is Beetle Bailey. Patreon is
Stripes. With Bill Murray and John Candy.
I was going to say Platoon. Stripes is more.
Well, Stripes is funnier than Platoon.
It's funny. Stripes. It's shocking. Stripes is more comedic than Platoon.
I challenge anybody to prove that Stripes is not funnier than Platoon.
Now, Barnes and Elias play off each other really well in Platoon, but I tell you, John Candy and that other guy in the Groundhog movie, yes,
Harold Ramis,
Mr. Murray and Mr. Ramis, they do a pretty good job.
Any of you guys call me Francis, and I'll kill you.
Lighten up, Francis.
How you doing?
I'm doing really well.
Yeah.
Something really cool happened to me the last time. Since the last time you spoke. I am now a world record holder. Okay. Mm-hmm. I'm part of.
Yes.
Okay. So, we've had Kevin Rupert on the show a couple of times.
He's awesome.
He's a comedian, good friend. He's a good guy. Okay. He owns and operates this comedy club up in Miamisburg, Ohio called Brickies. Kevin said, I want to hold the record for world's longest comedy show.
There you go.
Okay.
Yes.
I think it was a club in Nashville. Had it at 80 hours.
Yes.
He says we can top that.
Yeah.
So he reached out to all of his friends in the Cincinnati comedy area and the Dayton comedy area and beyond. He reached out to the world. Okay. Over 200 comedians said, yeah, I'll come in and I'll do this. So I think the record, we did it, by the way. We broke the record.
That's awesome.
84 hours and
wow.
30 minutes or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me ask you
over
something.
200 comedians.
Yeah.
Each of us had A majority of us had a 15-minute set.
So I've always wondered this, and Sal, since you are now a world record holder of the
Guinness Book of World Record
variety.
Yes.
In these situations where it's the longest time telling jokes, the longest time pooping, whatever it is.
which my son currently has that record.
There's a moment, I'm sure somebody's keeping time, and somebody announced the point at which you hit the world record. At that point, it sounds like there were 4 more hours or 3 more hours of gas left in the tank.
Yeah, there were a few more people there that decided to go on and just keep it going.
Is it cheating if you bring somebody back up, or was it everybody gets one shot to be up there?
That's a very good question. Comics can perform more than once, but they have to be more than 4 hours apart.
Okay.
I think.
And they have to do different material?
No, they do not have to do different material.
Oh.
So if Kevin needed me, and if I could, I would have went back another time. I could have done my same set for probably a different audience.
You've got 194 hours of material right here.
Well,
I would donate anything.
I wouldn't call that comedy. Some of it funny, yes. Some of it, yeah.
Let me tell you about you two. I could have gotten up there and talked about you two for at least a day of that.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
So anyway, congratulations to Kevin. Congratulations to all the comedians who came, donated their time, and got up on stage and performed. And I'll tell you, when I went, it was a Thursday at 2:00 in the afternoon. The perfect time to go see a comedy show. And I got there, and he had asked, the deal was you also had to have no less than 10 people in the audience.
Oh.
So there had to be 10 people minimum in the crowd for it to count.
Oh, because I could just stand down here and tell jokes to the wall.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So Kevin asked every comedian if they could also double as audience members. So can you do a 4-hour block?
That's a loophole.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
So I went on at 2. I got there at 12, and I stayed till 4. And so I was in the audience. There was a lot of interesting material. I'm not a prude. I'm not going to judge. I do a clean comedy set.
Yeah.
I do. The people who were on there, they do not do clean comedy sets. There were people who were going for blue material, people who were doing some offensive material.
Yeah.
You know what? Whatever. God, we went to see Louis C.K. My God, was he controversial? Okay.
He pulled out the Bible at one point and started doing the old biblical humor.
Yes, he did.
Yeah.
And which, you know what?
Yeah.
They enjoyed it. So if it's funny, if it gets a laugh, then, I about had a heart attack. The first thing that happened when I walked in, I found the club. I walked in. This is the place. I go in. This woman, she's standing there. She says, "Are you Darin Cox?"
Huh.
I said, yes, I am.
Did she have a warrant?
No, no.
Serving you with papers?
Were you in Johnson City in 1997?
No. You're my dad.
No, that wasn't me. Yeah, she says, "Are you Darin Cox?" And I haven't done stand-up in a while. I did not recognize her immediately. Okay. And I said, yes, I am. And I thought maybe she knew me from this podcast.
Yeah.
And she's like trying to figure out where she knew me. And then she says, you juggle, right? And I said, yes, I do juggle. She knew me from the juggling club that I used to go to all the time. And I said, oh, wait, you were at Arnold's cookout. She goes, yes.
Can I interrupt the story for a brief message?
Well, it doesn't go anywhere, but sure.
Please share this episode with your friends. For crying out loud, we've been doing this for 3 years. The man's getting recognized for juggling.
I was so excited.
You've been on the radio, for God's sakes.
I thought I was like hoping so bad she recognized me from the podcast or for stand-up or something. She recognized me from this cookout that I went to 3 years ago. But she was so excited.
I wore our damn shirt for 3 days in Las Vegas, walking around, hoping at some point somebody would yell out in my defense,
"Hey, you're Mike Odell." Right.
Put the thing on the thing. And I would turn around and be like, "Hey," and high five somebody. No, nothing. Yeah. Nothing. The most I got was, does that work? Yes, it works. Go to it and download the episode.
Yeah. When I got there was a woman on stage. She was trying out some material.
Okay.
Like I said, there was 11 people in the audience.
Yeah.
They were polite. That's but the best thing I could say for the crowd. They were very polite. Nobody was heckling. Nobody was being mean. And nobody was laughing. It's like she bombed, the guy after her bombed, and then this guy bombed,
and then you're up.
And I'm like, okay.
Okay.
Which in a way makes me feel fine because I'm like, well, everybody's bombing, so at least I'm not going to,
Did you bring the funny? Did you
yeah.
kill?
You know what? I thought I did pretty well.
All right.
Yeah. The thing was, Kevin told me when I was going on. I was going to go on after this guy named William.
Okay.
And I said, okay. So I was watching and waiting, and William was about to go up on stage. And so I thought, I'm going to go get a drink, use the bathroom real quick. Yeah. I always have a glass of water with me because I get so cotton mouth when I do stand up.
It's the drugs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm walking down the hall, and Kevin's up there getting ready to introduce William. And he says, all right, our next comic is a good friend of mine. Please welcome Darin Cox. I'm like, what? Hey, what happened? I turned around, ran back.
Waka.
And I'm running back on there. And he goes, oh, I'm sorry. Boy, I'm sorry about that. William, whoever is our next comic. I'm like, dude, you're killing me.
Wow.
You're absolutely killing me. And so William goes up there and he says, Darin Cox, that's my porn name.
Oh, okay.
That is without question the funniest story I've ever heard.
So I went and I got a drink and used the bathroom and went back up there and waited for him to do his 15-minute set. And when he was done, I walked up there and I said, are you sure it's my time to come on? Are you sure? And then I said, that's my porn name? I've never heard that one before.
Yeah.
But, I did some of my greatest hits.
Okay.
And it went well.
So give me like a taste. I mean, you don't have to tell the joke, but it's just like, what are some, I'm sure I've heard some of the stories.
I was doing some of my Christmas routine. I was like, my co-host of the podcast, he still has his Christmas tree up, so I can still tell Christmas jokes.
It's up right now.
Yeah. So I was doing some of my Christmas jokes.
So you pimped the podcast on stage.
I did not. I did not.
Okay.
Yeah.
Please share this episode.
There's only 10, 11 people there. It's like, you were in Vegas
I'll take it.
for 4 days and nothing. So I figured what's going to happen
People were
in Miami.
taking pictures of my damn shirt.
I know. So, but yeah, so Kevin scared the crap out of me. I did my set. It went fine. And then I hung around for a few hours and then I went. The woman who was on stage when I first got there, she was trying to do some material about this convenience store that I passed when I drove through Georgia. I've talked about it on the podcast. And she said, is it, there's a place, is it Boosie's? Boosie's? It's Boosie's, right? Boosie's?
Yeah.
Boosie's?
Boosie's.
And she keeps saying Boosie's.
Well, it looks like it's Boosie's.
Boosie's?
Yeah.
Boosie's. And finally, someone's like, Bucky's? And she goes, no, I think it's Boosie's. And we're like, okay. And then she spots me and she says, sir? And she says, at what point do you stop using shampoo and then use body wash? Because you're bald.
Yeah.
And I was like,
boy, that's a knee slapper.
Yeah. So, it just... Anyway, we broke the record.
Yes.
We broke the record for world's longest comedy show. PBS was there.
That's awesome.
PBS was there, and they recorded a lot.
Really?
And the footage that they shot was of 3 of the most outrageous, controversial, filthy comedians.
Putting them on right after Bob Ross. Is that what you're doing?
I mean, so I'm just wondering, like, how much of this is going to go on PBS? I really doubt any of it could have went on PBS.
Yeah.
But it's a good thing.
Do they have a budget? Do they have a quack? Can they afford a quack that they can put
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Well, we stole ours.
Yeah.
So
what?
Everybody was ending early. They were wrapping their setup early. You got 15 minutes.
That's not what you do during a world record attempt.
I know. I don't think any of us had planned on timing it out exactly at 15 minutes. I went in there thinking I had 20.
Okay.
And Kevin, when I got there, Kevin says, oh, by the way, we're all going, I mean, if you want to go over a little, that's fine, but you have to go 15. You absolutely cannot wrap early because we won't break the record.
Okay.
You have to go the solid 15 because if you wrap early, then it's not a consistent show.
And it has to be boom, 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 boom. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so I had 20 minutes and I thought, okay, well, I'll cut it down to 15. Here's the thing. I didn't skip any of my material because I was like, well, I can cut this out or I can cut this out. I left all my material in and I still wrapped at 14:30. And I'm like, what?
Were you going fast because you're nervous, maybe?
I don't think so. I mean, I was relaxed.
Okay.
When I used to do stand-up, when I first started, my hand would shake like nobody's business. And I'd hold the mic, and the mic was just shaking, like I'm in an earthquake.
Yeah.
And so for the longest time, I would stand there, and I would leave the mic in the stand because I didn't want people to see how bad my hands are shaking. I'd put my hands in my pocket, and I'd do my routine.
Yeah.
They couldn't see how nervous I was. Don't do that anymore. So I'm just relaxed.
Yeah.
And I felt totally fine.
Okay.
And I'm doing my routine and everything. And the next thing I look, I'm like, I'm out of jokes. I've got 30 seconds to kill.
Yeah. Time for the why did the chicken cross the road?
I pulled out my wallet real quick, and I've got some more stuff on a card there. And I should have anybody have any questions? I think
question and answer section.
Like now,
do some crowd work. That's where what's up with the teeth, buddy.
I'd already I'd already done crowd work.
Okay.
There's a part of my routine where I singled one guy out, and I talked to him for about a good 4 or 5 minutes.
Okay.
So I'd already, and you look at the crowd that was there. There were some people that I was like, I don't think he's going to be interested in doing crowd work.
Yeah.
One comedian was up there, and he was talking about the book Moby Dick. Have you ever heard of it? Moby Dick? Yeah. And he's like, hey, anybody here ever read Moby Dick? And the guy sitting next to me raised his hand, And he's like, no, you didn't. Nobody read Moby Dick. Anybody who said they read Moby Dick is a liar.
That's a hell of a crowd worker there.
And the guy starts mumbling, goes, I read Moby Dick. I read it.
Pissing off the Herman Melville fans.
Yeah, he was he was like pissed.
Yeah.
Like he called me a liar.
Yeah.
I read Moby Dick. So I was like, I'm not gonna be talking to him.
I got a story. We're past the statute of limitations here for I think junior high or high school. I don't know when it was, but we had to pick books to do a book report on, and I chose Moby Dick. Because I was an idiot kid, I didn't realize that not only was it a huge book, it's not exactly action packed.
Right.
It's about a whale.
Yes.
Moby.
That's the whale.
Yeah. And Captain Ahab, who drives the boat. And Captain Ahab...
Is drive the word for the boat? You drive the boat?
That's what he did.
Okay.
When you play Legos, the boat controls are a steering wheel, so I just go with that. Stop interrupting my story. So Captain Ahab, he's got this whale had done something like I think T-boned his boat. Out at sea. It's a white whale.
It is a white whale.
Yeah, and T-boned his boat. Through a lot of weird happenstance, he ends up with some kind of injury. I can't remember if it's a peg leg.
Happenstance.
Yeah,
nice.
I don't know if it's a peg leg or a hook, and I'll tell you why I don't know that.
I think he had a wooden leg.
I'll tell you why I don't know that. It's because I never read the book. And this, kids,
I haven't either.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is before the advent of the internet. I mean, I think we had Prodigy. Do you remember Prodigy?
Yeah.
You would log on, and you would have like a little pixelated character, and you could get email in about 3 hours.
Yeah.
Cut that out!
You've got mail. Well, that's AOL, but anyway, what I did is we didn't have Encyclopedia Britannica because we didn't have that much money.
Right.
We had Funkin' Wagnalls.
Oh,
you remember them?
Yes.
$5 of edition at the Tradewell in Proctorville. Oh, it's W week. Go get the W.
You had the Walmart version of the encyclopedias.
I remember getting pissed because Q and R were combined in the same book.
Right.
And it was like, come on, there's more R stuff.
Come on, yeah.
R is a popular...
You're telling me C through CH gets your own book?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, I looked up Moby Dick.
These are encyclopedia jokes,
exactly.
People. Yeah. Ask your parents.
Ask your parents. I looked up Moby Dick in the encyclopedia, and there was like a little paragraph, and I expanded that into a 300, 400 word, whatever it was I had to write at the time.
Wow.
Thing about Moby Dick.
An essay.
And I sounded intelligent because, I don't know if you know this, Moby Dick is a allegory.
Okay.
About somebody being obsessed with something and just like the fallacy of sunken costs. I'm going to get this whale no matter what. And I'm willing to put my crew at risk, my remaining limbs.
Come hell or high water.
Come hell, high water.
Yeah, that's the second week in a row we've said that.
Yes, I'm going to get that whale. And at the end, he's not really chasing the whale. He's chasing his own internal demons that cannot be sunken so readily, nor so simply. Right?
Right.
So I sounded like a genius.
Right.
Never read the book.
Right.
I just know it's about a whale and a boat and a dude with a leg that's weird.
So here's my take on Moby Dick.
Yeah.
When you read Moby Dick, you learn a lot about other people, but more importantly, you learn a lot about yourself.
The real reason.
Do you remember the Tom and Jerry cartoon, Dickie Mo?
No.
Yeah, the Tom and Jerry did a version of it, and the dude was after Dickie Mo.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm like, there's no copyright infringement there.
So the deal is that I was a weird kid.
Really? No. Say it ain't so, Mike.
Look it up. I don't know where. I was obsessed with I was obsessed and am still obsessed with the Loch Ness Monster, who's made an appearance on this show at least twice that I'm aware of.
I said, I ain't giving you no $3.50, you goddamn Loch Ness Monster. Get your own goddamn money.
I gave him $1.
She gives him $1.
I thought he'd go away if I gave him $1.
Well, of course he's not going to go away, Nelly. You give him $1, he's going to assume you got more.
The other options were A Tale of Two Cities. Who gives a
right?
You know, Wuthering Heights.
Haven't read
whatever. Rebels in Redcoats.
Haven't read it.
I don't know. Whatever else. Cold Stone Creamery. Whatever the other.
I think the last book I read was Where the Red Fern Grows.
And I thought Moby Dick is as close as I can get to the Loch Ness Monster.
Yeah.
And not really.
Yeah.
Not as such.
No.
Well, it was about that time that I noticed this Girl Scout was about 8 stories tall and was a crustacean from the Platoon.
The Loch Ness Monster.
I said, damn it, monster, get off my lawn.
So let this be, now kids just go to Chat GPT and write me a 300-word essay on Moby Dick.
Yeah.
And it throws all these things. It puts forsooth in there and different stuff to make them sound smart. It's bullshit. My point is, how did this start?
I don't know. Okay. Oh, the comedy thing. The dude asked if anybody read Moby Dick.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
And then he called the guy a liar.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I think that's true. I don't think anybody's ever read Moby Dick. I don't think the guy that wrote that thing in Funkin' Wagnalls read Moby Dick. I think that's why it's so short. Moby Dick's a large book.
Yeah.
It's a Moby Dick. And
I don't know what that means.
I don't either. But, I've seen more descriptive ads for Lego sets in newspapers than what they said about Moby Dick.
Hi, I'm Dave Lay, and boy, do I have some news for you. For the past few years, Whoppers has been a proud sponsor of this podcast, and now they're excited to unveil their newest line of meat products. Whoppers Bacon. Have you ever tried to buy bacon and every package on the shelves is nothing but white fat? And what's the deal with them putting one piece of bacon that's got a bunch of meat on it on top while the rest of the bacon underneath is all fat? That pisses me off. Well, the fine folks at Whoppers want you to know that every slice of their bacon is made from pure pork belly and will have at least 95% meat, or you'll get your money back. Guaranteed. Whoppers Bacon. Available everywhere fine meat products are sold. Now back to you guys in the studio.
I am currently reading Dune. I saw a video on the interwebs, on YouTube's, as it were. This guy was giving a review, the top 10 science fiction books you should not let your friend read if they're new to science fiction.
Yes, science!
And the idea was...
That's an odd category.
Well, yeah, but that's why I watched the video. Because I was
top 10 books, science fiction books you should not let your friend read if they're new to science fiction.
Correct. And
Paul, do we have any music?
The premise, Darin, is most people who are new to science fiction are, I want spacey lightsabers and shooty things and pew pew pew. And these were books that aren't that. They're awesome books, but they're not. They're deep. And guess what the number one book was that you should not let your friends read? Dune.
Wow.
I'm halfway through it right now.
My finger is on the pulse of science fiction books that you should not let your friend read if they are new to science fiction.
I've read one of them, and the list was Neuromancer. And I'll tell you, that is a dense cookie. my dear boy. Dune is
Time you called me that.
exceptionally. You forget who people are. Who's the guy? They'll have somebody that's mentioned on page 4. He was passing by, and then on page 300, he's done something. And knows
There's no way
whatever he's done.
I can't do that.
The benefit of the movies is now I can put the names. I was there with IMDb. Make fun of me all you want, but I was there. I had IMDb open. They would mention a name. Oh, that's Aquaman. Okay, I know who that is. Aquaman. Every time it says Duncan, Idaho, Aquaman.
Right.
Duke Leto. Oh, it's Poe Dameron. Okay, Poe Dameron. And so I've got this thing on in my head. Loving it.
Yeah.
For Paul Atreides, I keep going back and forth between what's his name, Chattanooga, Sam,
Choo-choo,
Chartreuse, Timothy Chalamet, Chattanooga,
Chalamet. No, Tiffany
Chattanooga.
Tiffany Chattanooga.
She's put out some.
She has
pretty racy movies. Well, it was interesting.
She invented the train.
She made the. She made the jump to hard science fiction. I kept going back and forth between Tiffany Chattanooga and the guy from the 80s Dune.
Sting.
Yeah.
Kyle
MacLachlan. Also from Desperate Housewives.
Yes. Wait, no, he was in he was in Sex and the City
was
too.
He?
Yeah,
Okay. Right.
Short period of time.
The point is, my intention was to finish this book before we see Dune 2. We have tickets to see Dune 2 this Saturday.
Is it this Saturday?
This Saturday.
Oh, okay.
In the IMAX.
Okay.
Row F. If you're interested in
this Saturday, Libby and I have our wedding anniversary.
Well,
yeah.
There's no better way to spend your wedding anniversary than sitting next to Charlie. No, we'll be you sit next to Charlie. Andrew.
I was like, shut up. So you're at my house all the time. Why are you here?
So I've talked about this briefly, and I meant for this to be brief, and I'm sorry that it's not.
Anytime you mean for something to be brief, we're talking 20, 25 minutes.
Here's the thing.
Okay.
When we saw Dune, the first Dune, with all this, I remember
I like the Dune with all this,
with all the sand
with
and
fingers.
I remember walking out of the theater, and Andrew said that was awesome. Charlie was like, yeah, that was really cool. Bess said, I really like that.
Yeah.
Years have passed. COVID has come and gone. And now I show them the trailer for Dune 2. It choked me up. I've talked about it on here.
Yeah.
And they're like, I don't know.
Yeah.
So now I've explained to them, look, I'm currently reading the book, and I've seen the original 80s movie with Sting and all of them. The whole first half, which is the whole first movie, is setting up all these characters and all these reasons you should give a shit about the second half. The second half is damn near all war and a knife fight and worms going crazy.
Sandworms.
Chattanooga Steve, all that stuff is in
Tiffany
Chattanooga. All that stuff is in the second movie, and it's awesome. But if you don't know why people are, who they're doing, how it's cool and all this stuff, you're not going to care. It's just going to be a bunch of people shooting each other.
Yeah.
So they've agreed at some point between now and Saturday, we are watching Dune 1 again.
Okay, so we were watching, my family, we were watching Dune again.
Recently?
Okay. 2 days ago.
Oh, okay.
We keep falling asleep, though.
Yeah.
It's not that it's a boring movie.
Well,
it's a great movie.
Yeah.
We love the remake of Dune.
Yeah.
We kept dozing off. Libby would doze off. I'm like, Libby, wake up. And then she'd wake up, and then she'd elbow me. You told me to wake up, and now you're asleep.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So anyway, but yeah, we've got to watch it again. I didn't realize it was coming up this soon.
Yeah, I just they've been releasing the
What
things.
happened?
What happened?
Yeah.
What happened?
I love that. What's his name? The guy is the Emperor Shaddam IV, Christopher Walken.
Really?
Yeah, he's
I
the
didn't know
emperor.
that.
He's the emperor
Because he was not in the last one, was he?
So, no.
Okay.
There was a guy, and you know how you like to go into the YouTube groups and just spread
I
dismay.
do. Yes.
Dismay them. Somebody did that to the Dune group that I recently joined.
Oh boy.
They came in and they were complaining that Dune copied so much off of Star Wars. Now, ladies and gentlemen.
Okay.
Star Wars came out in the 70s. Dune was in the 60s. Clearly.
Yep.
Yeah. And they're not the same story.
No.
He was like, look, it's okay, sand.
Yeah,
all right,
sure.
you've got an emperor. Okay, you've got a kid, and his spoiler, his parents die. All that now he becomes like the chosen one. Like I've seen this before. I liked it better when it was called Star Wars.
Yeah,
and
because
so there's a couple of early.
Tiffany Chattanooga has the Force.
Tiffany Chattanooga has the Force.
Yeah,
that's the title.
Yeah,
there's a few chuckles, and then there's people. Excuse me, sir. Excuse me, sir.
How dare you?
How dare you?
Good day, sir. Yeah.
And all with white glove off, all through there.
Indeed.
And I thought, wow, we need to have that man on the podcast.
Yes. Yes, we do.
You're listening to Irritable Dad Syndrome, Cincinnati's comedy podcast.
Comedy is in my blood. I wish it was in my act.
Over the past year, I've received 4 books as gifts? I got the new Steve Martin book. Okay. I have not read it yet. I got the Paul Schaefer biography.
Okay.
I haven't read it yet. I got the Canadian Mounted. Okay, hear me out.
Okay, I am.
It is, remember when John Candy was in the
Yeah.
So
that's what I remember that from.
The book says the Canadian Mounted, but what it is, it's all about the movie Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. Just facts, but it's not a novel.
Awesome.
Yeah. And it has the woman on the cover, the Canadian Mounted. So the next time I fly somewhere, by God, my fat ass is sitting there reading the Canadian Mounted, and I'm going to look over it at somebody and go, I think I know you. And I'm going to see.
I knew you.
I've never stolen anything in my life. Yeah. I'm going to see if anybody gets it. Okay. And I can't wait to do that.
Yeah.
The last David Sedaris book that I got, I've read some of it.
Okay.
But my God, I have a hard time staying focused.
It takes a bit to get back into it.
Yeah.
You realize how much because I used to read all the time.
Yeah, with actual books, I can't get comfortable.
Yeah.
So if I'm laying on my back, then you can't get the light right. If you're laying on your stomach, and when you're fat, you get acid reflux. Okay, if you're laying on your side, that doesn't work. Laying on the other side, that doesn't work. But I was laying there and I fell asleep, and the book hit me in the nose.
Yes.
Then
I've had some close calls,
and the book closed, and I'm like, where the hell was I?
Yeah. The copy of Dune that I'm reading right now is hardback, and Dune's a hefty book. Yeah. It's about 650 pages in this edition. Bess will wake up and there'll be a dead body next to her with a Dune book implanted in his face.
It just reminds me of one of my favorite jokes from David Letterman. You've heard of David Letterman.
Yeah.
He would talk about, like, George W. Bush wrote a book, and it's a big book. What you can do is you can use this book, stand on it, and you can reach a better book.
I've heard that before.
It's one of my all-time favorites.
It's time now for the Kroger Story of the Week.
I still hate Kroger. The freaking self-checkout.
I can't do the normal checkout.
I can't stand it.
Why?
I can't stand it.
What's your problem with it?
Oh, my God.
They've improved it so much.
Oh, I was hot. I was so mad the other night. I went, we didn't have any groceries at all. We were completely out of food. We were
Did
eating
you open there's like a spider web in your
we were eating
fridge?
Mayonnaise on crackers. That's what we were eating.
Okay.
And I go to the grocery store, and I went after 8 o'clock. If you go after 8 o'clock, you're screwed, because not only, Mike, are there no baggers, there's no cashiers, because it takes me about an hour to get all the stuff that I need.
Yeah.
And so I'm checking out at 9 o'clock, and it's all self-checkout. No cashiers, no baggers. So I wait in line for the one that has the conveyor belt. I hate the conveyor belt more than I hate the self-checkout thing. Okay. I'll tell you why. Why? Yeah. You're curious? Because, Mike, you put your on the thing, and then it runs down, okay? And then all your stuff starts piling up. So I stop what I'm doing. I go down and I start bagging it to clear up more room. Then the thing starts beeping at me. Beep, beep. If you're done, please pay now. Like, I'm not done. I'm not done yet.
Yeah.
Okay? Calm down, Sally. I go back and I start ringing up some more stuff. And then I didn't do anything wrong. Okay, I rung up one thing, and it says calling cashier or calling help.
It's telling on you.
This girl comes over. She's got to be 17.
Yeah, Tiffany Chattanooga.
She was not in the mood. I have never seen this woman smile. And all the times I've went to Kroger, she does not smile. She comes over and walks away.
Yeah.
She doesn't. There's one guy, there's this dude, he's got long, beautiful black hair.
I know exactly who you're talking about.
And he'll like, oh, hey, how's it going? Yeah, you got a thing. I don't know why it does that. But there you go. You're all fixed. And then he'll walk away. He'll talk to you. He's nice.
Yeah.
Right. So and then she walks off.
Yeah.
So I'm ringing up more stuff. And then it jams up, calling for help.
Oh.
She comes over again and she says, she gets kind of smart with me. She goes, everything's jammed up at the bottom.
Well, I'm glad she was there to point that out to you.
And so I said, well, there's no one down there bagging for me. And I looked at the lady next to me and she goes, oh. I normally don't get pissy, but I was in a mood.
Yeah.
I'm like, it's not my fault there's no bagger there.
Yeah.
It's not my fault I didn't bring my cologne and I can't ring and bag at the same time.
Yeah. You got to do the carousel, man. You got to do that.
I had a whole cart full of groceries, Mike.
I do that.
You do a whole cart full of groceries at the carousel?
You bag 4 of them up, then the hole that those left, you put the bags in there, and then you bag 4 more up.
I didn't have another grocery cart. I didn't have a buggy to put them in.
Oh, you didn't have a buggy? You just had all this stuff like this?
Well, I mean, you take everything out, and then you run the buggy you have to the end, and then you put your...
No, you're back in the...
So it's what you're saying, Mike, is it's my fault?
You're back in the late 1900s. Need to give...
It's all my fault.
It's all your fault. You and I are going to go grocery shopping one of these days.
No. The last time I went grocery shopping with you, you got really pissy because as soon as you had your ice cream in your hand, you're like, you, I'm not talking to you, and you ran out of there.
Bess went with me a few weeks ago, her and the kids, and she was in shock at how fast I was. Because usually when I go, it's because I need to get something to make for dinner, or we need to get groceries and we don't have time.
Yeah.
Because your dumbass is coming over here for this podcast, or Andrew wants to go to the gym and I'm fat and I need to go to the gym and I want to go with him and all that. I never have time to do anything.
Yeah.
So I have hot spots I hit and I get this thing. I'm literally pass by all the bread. There's the bread we get. Boom. Pass by all the butter. There's the butter we get. Boom. There's the eggs we get. There's the milk. In my head, it's like a Beautiful Mind. I'm going chasing my route.
I can grocery shop by myself perfectly. Yeah.
I put all the soft stuff up top.
Yeah.
Put all the heavy stuff in the bottom.
Yeah.
Soft stuff. Get the then you have to do the thing with the what you may call it, and I still get mad because it'll say you didn't please scan all your items, and I did. I scanned all my items, but we've been over that.
Yeah.
My point is, you need to get away that with the conveyor with nobody there is the worst of both worlds.
Yeah,
because you don't have anybody to bag, and you got a freaking conveyor that's going and crumple and stuff. And then, like you said, you got the lady telling on you, and then Tiffany Chattanooga comes over and complains. It's just bad.
Yeah. And again, I don't get pissy, but when she told me that I let it all jam up at the end, I'm like, well, whose fault was that?
Yeah.
Sally. Yeah. Oh, I was pissed. Yeah. Libby, a few weeks ago, we were coming home and I was going to drop everybody off and then come back to the grocery store because I don't like grocery shopping with the family.
Yeah.
I don't. I spend enough time with them as is. Mm-hmm. And she goes, we'll all just go in at once and knock it out. And I was like, no. And she goes, no. So she pulls in and the boy's like, what are we doing? We're all going to go grocery shopping. Mm-hmm. Like we're going to Kings Island or something. Mm-hmm. Like there's a freaking roller coaster in there and the kids are all going to have fun. Mm. And I'm like, I shouldn't even tell this story on the podcast because when Libby listens to it, she's going to get pissed. Anyway, so the boys, Libby gives them this list. Guys, go find this stuff because you're going to cook this for dinner tonight. You need to learn where the stuff is in there. And she's got a point.
Yeah, at some point, they need to be able to...
The boys need to learn where the stuff is in the store, how to find it, which brands to get, and all this stuff. So they go off on their way, and I'm shopping with her. And Libby's looking at the cabbage and the cucumbers. She's looking at the corn, and she's like, you don't have to stand there. Why don't you go find something? And I'm like, getting a little bossy, aren't you? I'm like, are we going to throw down here in the store? She literally was not getting bossy at all, but I perceived what she was saying as bossy. Mm-hmm. I'm like, okay, all right, fine. Well, all right, so you spend all your time here trying to figure out if you want arugula or this, whatever.
Yeah.
I'm going to go get this, and this.
I go
and I got that, and that.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, so I got this, right? And I'm carrying it.
Yeah.
I go back to find her to put it in our cart. I can't find her anywhere.
Yeah.
She's not in the produce department. She's not
you're
in
doing
the deli.
this thing.
I grabbed two or three things, right?
Yeah.
I can't find her. So I call her. She doesn't answer.
Mm-hmm.
I walk up the store, I walk back the store, walk up the store. Finally, where are you? Oh, I've been here the whole time. No, you haven't. You have not been here the whole time. I passed this place. She's like, are you okay? Do you need a snack?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I put the stuff there. I'm like, now what do I need to get? I'm totally out of my element because I'm used to doing the grocery shopping by myself. I like doing the grocery shopping by myself.
Yeah, I enjoy it. Yeah. I enjoy it.
So I'm like, okay. So I go and I find a couple other things. I lose her again.
Kroger's is a big store.
Gotta put a freaking tracker on her.
Yeah, like at Kmart, you said the blue light special.
Yeah.
You just like attach a light to her head and track it through the store.
So one more. This is another day. I was in the produce department and I got a bag of navel oranges.
As one does.
And this woman looks at me like I had a pot of gold. She goes, where'd you get those? I said, they're oranges. They're right here. She goes, those are, and she holds up her bag, which were cuties, the little tangerines. She goes, those are different than mine. I'm like, well, yeah, those are cuties and these are navel oranges.
Yeah.
And she goes, I want those. I was like, well, they're right there, And then she
Keep
says,
her away from the cantaloupe.
She says, but I don't want to buy all those navel oranges. I want to buy like some navel oranges. I don't want to buy all those navel oranges. And I said, kind of like celery. Why can't you buy 2 stalks of celery? She smacks me on the arm. Yeah. Why can't you buy a little bit of celery?
Wow.
And I'm like, okay.
Yeah. You guys are going to start a revolution.
I'm going to walk away before you smack me again.
This has been the Kroger Story of the Week.
We went to Target.
But Libby, sorry that I included you negatively in the Kroger Story of the Week segment.
I think it's awesome.
Libby's my wife, and I love her dearly.
Yeah.
And she's the best thing to ever happen to me. And when we go to the store, she's always kind and polite.
Yeah.
And we get along fantastic at the house.
Yeah.
And she's never a problem at all.
Yeah.
And we get along swimmingly.
Exactly.
We have a perfect marriage.
Okay. So we were at the Target.
This disclaimer brought to you by.
We were at the Target.
Right.
And we passed, there's an Easter candy display. And you're saying, Mike, did you get mini eggs and Peeps?
And the Reese cups.
I backed off. And I'll tell you why.
I didn't get the Reese eggs either the other day.
They have. And I hesitate to tell you this because right now I'm thinking about it and I'm thinking about going back over there.
Okay.
They had a clearance of regular Reese's.
Oh.
Darin.
Okay.
$85 in a box.
85?
85.
85.
And I'm literally...
Oh, I'm so excited because I've been waiting for this.
Yeah?
When in Elf, okay, when the Master Elf asks Buddy how he's doing with the things. What are the
Etch-a-Sketch?
The Etch-a-Sketches. Yeah. How many have you made? And Buddy goes, 85? And then he goes, 85. And we do that all the time.
Okay.
I'm going to be a little bit short on today's quota.
It's all right, buddy. Just how many Etch-a-Sketches did you get finished?
I made 85.
85?
There's 85 Reese's cups.
Nobody cares.
There's 85 individually wrapped Reese's cups. It's 85. A box that, like, you know when you get the boxes of pop or soda, as they say up north,
Coke,
and you can rip off the corner, and it's just like a rapid fire.
What are you doing with your hand there, Mike?
Rapid fire Coke dispenser. This is like rapid fire scoop up as many as you. It actually says on the thing, just drive by and scoop them up, or walk by and scoop them as you go. 85. How 85. How much would you pay for 85 Reese's cups in one box?
$30.
$14.
14. Good God.
I almost bought multiples of
80.
those.
Oh,
but I didn't because me and Beth stood in front of them for a long time and I said, this way lies ruin. that's when you've given up, right? That's heroin, not even once.
Yeah.
Okay, so we backed away from that, and I backed up into the Peeps display, and I looked around. Longtime listeners know that I have a very weak spot when it comes to Peeps.
Oh yeah,
and I looked around, and they had Dr. Pepper Peeps, and I said, "Oh my God, there's Dr. Pepper Peeps," and Beth said, and I quote, "Ugh." And I said,
"What?
Again with the Peeps? Really? You're still got a problem with the Peeps? Every time I mention or see or gesture towards or buy Peeps,
she's not a fan.
You feel the need to go, ugh.
Libby doesn't like the Peeps either.
She's turning the kids against the Peeps.
What?
Yeah, I tried to give
grounds for divorce.
I tried to give Charlie a Dr. Pepper Peep, and he ate the Peep tail. Didn't even, just left the head. Didn't even eat the whole Peep. I eat a whole Peep without thinking about it.
Yeah.
I eat a whole Peep while I'm thinking about eating the next Peep.
Do you have any of the Dr. Pepper Peeps?
I ate them all.
Yeah, okay.
I did get the regular Peeps, and the other reason, because they used to have...
What you do is you get the regular Peeps, you dunk them in Dr. Pepper.
You can do that.
Yeah.
They also have, Icy in the Hills.
Yeah.
They have Icy
Hills. Hills department store closed, went out of business in 1987.
They have the blue Icy Peeps.
Hills is where the toys are.
That's right. I almost got that. Now they have birthday cake Peeps, but I don't think that's just not natural.
Right. No, well, none of them are natural, Mike.
But I'm going to tell you more about Peeps here in a minute.
Okay.
But I didn't want to get 2 sets of the Dr. Pepper Peeps. I think that's too much.
Yeah.
So I got regular Peeps, pink, of course. And I thought I burned through the Dr. Pepper Peeps in literally about 10 minutes. I just ate them all, 16 of them.
I heard your dad went into a restaurant and ate everything in the restaurant, and they had to close the restaurant.
You ate 16 Dr. Pepper Peeps in 10 minutes. You should be in the Guinness Book of World Records.
I can't. Once I start, I can't stop.
Okay.
And then I opened up the regular Peeps the next day, and I thought, I'll have one of these. And I had one, and it was glorious.
Yeah.
The regular, normal Peeps, pink, are amazing.
Yeah. I was going to say, don't sell yourself short, Peep. I can't remember how long ago it was, but I mentioned about the time my wife, Libby, the first time she watched Mystery Science Theater 3000, because it had come on and I was watching it, and then I changed the channel when she walked into the room thinking she ain't going to like this at all because she's a girl.
Yeah.
Right? Because typically girls don't like stupid like that.
Okay.
She loved it.
Yeah.
And then we watched it over and over and over again.
Yeah.
Last night, we're watching TV. We're getting ready to go to bed, and let's see if something else is on. She's flicking through channels. I was like, "Oh, hey, John Oliver," and she said, "Who's John Oliver?"
What?
And then I realized I've
never watched him.
Apparently, I have failed as a husband. I'm like, how do you not know who John Oliver is?
Yeah.
He's been around for 12, 15 years or something.
Hilarious.
Yeah. And I was trying to explain to her, what he does, who he is. And I said, he's hysterically funny. And so she turns on an episode of Last Week Tonight with John Oliver. First question she asks me, is he British? Yes.
No.
Yes.
He's Swahili.
Yes, honey. He's from the Britain.
Yeah.
Yeah, he is British. Yeah. And then she starts chuckling. And then she starts laughing hysterically. And I'm like, thank God.
Yeah,
because it's like, I told her, I said, that wouldn't have been a deal breaker, but it would have been difficult for us to move forward.
Cause for concern.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
What do I do now that she doesn't think John Oliver is funny?
Yeah.
Yeah. But she's yeah.
Yeah. That's awesome. I absolutely love John Oliver. I can't think of more Peep stories.
Yeah.
There was more there. Red Hot Peeps. Holy Lord. I'm actually glad they don't make those anymore.
I'm afraid of those.
Yeah.
I am
they're
afraid
really
of those.
good. They're so damn good.
There was a time there where they were putting hot pepper in candy all the time.
Yeah.
My buddy Jeff Brown, when we worked at Channel 5 together, he had went upstairs, and all the time in the little kitchenette, the sales department, someone would bring in candy or cookies or whatever and leave them there, because you could always go up to sales if you were hungry, you needed a snack, a free snack.
Yeah.
And he reaches in, grabs a Snicker and eats it, and he doesn't know that it's one of the hot pepper ones.
Oh. Those were Snickers?
He thought that he had been poisoned. He's like, oh my God, one of those guys at Halloween that, always puts the razors in the apples has put poison in my Snicker bar. And he started freaking out. And then he looked at another wrapper, realized
there was a dark period of my life where I forced myself to enjoy dark chocolate because I could eat a square of dark chocolate. And
I cannot stand dark chocolate.
It's disgusting.
It's nasty.
But it would sate that chocolate thing, which I didn't have before Bess and I got together. Before we met, I existed on a diet of Skittles, Starburst, cotton candy, candy canes,
candy
lollipops, all non-chocolate desserts.
Yeah.
And she loved chocolate bar. And I was like, why would you waste your chance to eat something nice on chocolate?
See, I'm with Bess on this. I like the chocolate stuff.
Well, I do now too. The gateway drug for me was Snickers bars. I always enjoyed Snickers bars. I didn't care that they had chocolate around them. I liked all the stuff inside. Now I like all of it. Now I like all chocolate things.
Yeah.
I had no word. Yeah. Oh, hold on. So I started getting dark chocolate, and I could have
this is why our downloads are in the toilet.
Right. I could eat a square, and I was losing weight, and it would I would be craving chocolate, and I would be good.
Yeah.
Well, I was getting sick of the same old 86% cacao, those things. So they had one. They had one with a red pepper on it. I was like, oh, that's the thing. This is around the same time they were putting it in everything.
Yeah.
I'll get this. And it was the most useless chocolate bar I ever eaten. It was the same as all the other dark chocolates, except it gave you heartburn.
Yeah.
It was like that, and then all of a sudden you get an aftertaste of, oh God, I need to drink some milk or something, and then you're up all night. That thing.
Yeah.
That wasn't worth it. Not at all.
I forgot to mention that when I went to Bricky's to do the World Record comedy show thing, I'm driving up there and I pass a building. It's this business. And on the glass window, it said holsters over 40,000 in stock. I'm like, Jesus God, is this where everybody in the country goes to get a holster?
Wow.
A holster, Mike. 40,000 holsters in stock.
See,
I mean, okay, I didn't know there was that much demand for holsters. And I don't want to get, this isn't a Second Amendment rights thing.
No, it's just,
my God.
I mean, where I'm from, the holster is your waistband. But
how many freaking holsters
do you need?
I mean, it's like you go in there, it's so hard to choose. There's 40,000 here. And then one other thing before we go.
This one holds Peeps, too.
I know.
Yeah.
A few weeks ago, we had Craig Augenstein, or as you call him, Augie, on the show. He was talking about Vibraflux and the album that they created and produced. Guess what? It's now the #1 album in America.
#1.
Yeah.
Is it really?
It is, yes. It is.
Really?
It is skyrocket.
Okay.
Shot to the top of the charts. Dick Clark is all about Vibraflux. Yeah. So go out.
Good album.
Seriously, go out and buy
really
it
good.
before it sells out, because the stores are having a trouble holding it, keeping it in their store.
Yeah, because we're still in those days.
Go to Vibraflux
where that's possible.
.araverb.com.
Not Aeronoun.
Araverb.
You get Aeronouns a whole.
Wasn't he in the Lord of the Rings?
No, that goes to Tiffany Chattanooga's site. You don't want any part of that.
Oh boy, was that!
Wow.
And Mino's wondering if
you've just crushed his dreams. You son of a bitch. I'm going to let you own that. You go ahead.
It is a very good album.
It's an excellent album.
It's a very good album, and I really hope that people go and listen to it.
Yes.
Yeah.
We're going to continue to pimp it.
We are.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And while you're listening to that album, listen to our show.
Yeah.
And share it.
Yes, please.
Right.
Honestly, if you like what you hear, please tell your friends about it. We would appreciate it. We've been doing this for 3.5 years, and we're going to keep doing it because Mike and I genuinely love doing this podcast. We enjoy talking to each other, and we enjoy sharing our stories with you. So if you enjoy hearing it, please tell your friends about it, share it, spread it on the social media, do everything, and help us, get the word out about Irritable Dad Syndrome.
There's a little icon on your app that looks like a thing and goes whoop. Tap that.
Look for the thing that goes whoop.
And share. Don't just hand your phone to somebody and say, listen to this. Some of you are doing. So clearly, some of you are doing that.
I think
actually share the.
I think there were people who what they were doing was they're having listening parties, and they were having just people come into the living room.
Back in the day,
sit down and press play, and
back in the day when Lars lost his about people sharing music, I was like, "Sit down, Lars, you're fine."
Yeah,
but I think I'm on Lars's side. Y'all need to be downloading your own free copy of this.
Free.
It's free.
This podcast is free.
Thank you for listening.
Thank you.
We'll be same place, same time next week
on Irritable Dad Syndrome.
Irritable Dad Syndrome is a Mike Odell, Darin Cox production.
Kevin decides, you know what I want to do? I want to hold the Guinness Book of World Records. I want to hold the Guinness Book of World Record for the, I think either, how do I say that? I want to hold the record.
I want to hold the Guinness World. See, this is what we're saying. Patreon, you get all of it.
All of this.
None of this is going to be in the official podcast. Yeah. You see the size of the.
I'm so excited.
I had. Oh my God! There was something awesome that happened with the Peeps. So listen responsibly. Miles, go to bed.
Holy crap! It's Mino. We have somebody watching us from Japan.
Yeah.